Well, I like to tell my students that remote sensing is the science and art of determining what's there without being there. Okay. So one of the things we do is to look at reflected sunlight. And there can be reflected sunlight giving us colors that we can't see. The visible part of the wavelength region that we see is very small compared to the total amount of reflected sunlight that comes off the Earth's surface. So if you look at all of that, you start seeing an enrichment of information about what it is you're looking at. Now, if you add to that the thermal infrared, which isn't reflected sunlight, but is heat emitted by the object that you're looking at, then you really do have a wide variety of wavelengths of light, electromagnetic radiation, to look at. And then you can start answering the question, what is it made of? Because spectroscopic techniques had been used in laboratories for decades before the first remote sensing satellite went up. And they would use it to determine the chemical composition of things that had an unknown composition. Now, this kind of information, this looking at the Earth in many wavelengths of light, which is multispectral, it means many wavelengths. Hyperspectral means very many wavelengths, or as the French say, beaucoup wavelengths. That is what you need in order to determine the chemical composition of what's there. And finding out the chemical composition is far more useful information many times than knowing the shape and size of the object. For instance, if I had the spectrum of the paint on your truck, 1 pixel the size of your whole truck would let me identify that truck, because I would be able to look for the composition of that paint. It wouldn't matter that I couldn't tell the difference between the cab and the bed, or that it was from this angle or that angle, or that was longer than it was wide. I don't need any of that. All I need is that chemical composition of the paint, and if it is a unique paint, I've got it. Now, and a lot of times it's not so unique. It might be a paint that Ford Motor Company uses. Another one might be a paint that Toyota uses, or maybe they only use it on their Land Rover, okay? Whatever unique chemical characteristics there are out there to look at, that's what you can go after with multispectral remote sensing.